Here we go. All right, for your games, you're with. I'm here with
uh, Pete.
Pete and
Matt. Hey, everyone.
Matt. And what are we here to play today?
So this is my little project game. It's Project A. Path Mastery is one of the names I'm throwing around. It's a dice combat game, greatly inspired by games like Dice Learn Adventures, Role Player, and even Ahoy to an extent. But you might see a lot of influence from some of these games. But the game is centered around letting you have the experience of growing your character in the way that you want them to be. So not just being cemented to certain archetypes. But at the moment, I just have a few things here to both playtest and kind of just cement some ideas. So for you three, you can go ahead and choose one of these player mats. These two are examples of what would be bosses or more difficult enemies. This is a co-op game at the moment, where we would move as a party. But yeah, I'll let you have your choice between Brutus or Marcus here.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll go for Marcus.
All right, I'll take Brutus. Okay, so
Oh,
are you playing here?
Yeah, I gotta add my scene's color, or I gotta add myself. How do I add? Oh yeah, I gotta sit in the seat. All right, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Killer Cam pink. No, let's go orange.
Okay, sweet.
All right, Marcus.
Here, you can. I mean, you don't have to. You can do like what Matt's doing, or you can do what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how I orient the table just to be like the regular way.
Yeah, we can definitely squeeze just 3 mats side by side if you want.
Yeah, that'll work for me.
Right now, there's nothing that will be going into the like TTS hand, so to speak. It's all public information. It's all on the table, so we can just kind of do this thing.
You know, I mean, I don't know how to like orient the camera on a different axis or whatever because it's got me. Well, I mean, I guess get off of this seat. I guess seeing as how there's no seat in the middle.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah, if you can just zoom out and I think, yeah, you just hold the right click and kind of turn.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you should be able to reorient, but I'll spawn you in some counters here. There are 2 different kinds of meters at the moment, though that might change to include like a currency of some kind. Right now there's health and a meter called mastery points, which is what you will end up spending on cards that will add to your list of available, attacks. So this is the only example of a school or a class, so to speak. This little deck of 5 cards. That's just a quick example of one that's not available right at the start. And I'm still throwing out some ideas of how you would make. But sorry about that. So I'll go ahead and kind of go through maybe what like a turn of this game would look like. Got a lot of different pieces here because I was workshopping a few different things. And at the moment, the game would consist of like a map with tiles that you would place on it, where the map would be a static map that just has defined locations, but each game would have a different orientation of tiles. So for the purposes of just, explaining with the pieces I have, if this game, the entire game was a mission to defeat the legate here, it would be like a mission card that says legate, and it would tell you what tiles to place in what areas of the map. For the sake of simplicity, I have just an example of like a corridor. So you could think of these tiles as being placed on a forest or, a swamp or something like that. And the party would be represented by just a meeple or, a player piece, just using the TTS asset here. But the first thing you'd want to do is to set up your character. So if you look at your character mat, you have your starting health and then your different dice that you would take to kind of form your starting dice pool. So I'll go ahead and grab 2 white dice, 1 red dice, 1 green. And then I will set my health as well. So in basic fantasy convention, these characters are meant to be, like starting points, but not at all like a hard defined way that you need to play it. So Brutus here, I wanted him to kind of be like, in D&D terms, someone with the stat spread of, oh, well, he would be good to put strength into or dexterity, right? So in that basic convention, I have 2 white dice, which represent normal dice, and then 1 green and 1 red, which would thematically represent a strength ability and a dexterity ability, something related to agility. Gwen here has 2 white dice, 1 blue, 1 purple. So this kind of indicates Gwen has something wisdom related. So in fantasy conventions, a touch of magic, and purple would be like a psychic or curse affiliated dice. I'm building it out to be, those abilities have a lot to do with manipulation of other people's dice or actions. Marcus is kind of like your kind of hero archetype of some magic, some physicality, right? So he has a agility or dexterity based move here. This move, dodge, is actually making less sense as I playtest, so it'll probably be replaced by something else. But I'll go ahead and explain the dice faces really quick, and then we should be able to just jump into a quick encounter that won't take very long. The dice have regular pips, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is going to be this miss symbol. So when you roll a dice and you land on a 1, that dice can't be used to be assigned to an attack. A 6 is replaced by this wild symbol. That 6 can represent any number that you would want it to assign it to, right? So like here on Marcus, that's a 5. So if you had a blue wild, you could absolutely use that dice to use meditate. In terms of the colors, everybody has Slice, I believe. Yeah, it's just a very basic attack. This card, what it's trying to tell you is that you can place one of any kind of dice. On the card itself, or on the player mat, when it's asking for a white dice, so this is like white of any number, it's saying you can put any color dice, and then the number has to match. There is no number here, so any dice but a miss, you can put in Slice. So you can put this green 2, this blue 6. If you want, you're totally able to do that. This spot right here, the 4-5 spot for Sting, what that's trying to tell you is there's one dice slot here, and it will take either a 4 or a 5, so, or a wild, right? So I just put a blue 6 or wild dice here. That's because it's only asking for a 4 or 5, and a blue dice, while it is blue, it also fulfills that any color requirement. So as long as it's a 4 or 5 or wild, you can definitely use your blue dice for that. Blue dice, no matter what dice face it is, it won't be able to be used here on dodge, because when it's asking for a color, dodge and meditate are examples of this. You can't use any other color for that space. You have to have the appropriate color. Does that all track with you guys?
Yeah. White is just a generic color.
Yeah, so if these were all attacks, white would be your basic or normal type damage, and then like a red, let's say, would be a fire type damage. It would be fire and normal, right? Because it would be both technically damage and also technically fire. But the white you cannot use to use a, wisdom ability. You can't roll a 5 white and put it here on meditate.
Cool. Now with the
Does that track?
slice, yeah. So with the slice, if you had 3 dice there, would it do 3 damage or just 1 damage? 3 dice to do 1 damage.
So the text on the card, it applies to every dice slot at the moment.
Okay.
So slice, like if you rolled these 4, I'm just gonna lock your mat and play mat so that I can drag it, over. If you roll these 4, so you have like the green mist, the blue 5, whatever, you can go for this play, which is the meditate 5. This is asking for 4 or 5 of any color. The 6 works just as well. And your turn would be, you recover 1 health, you deal 2 damage, and then you deal 1 damage. However, if the enemy was lower health, and you decided, I'm at full health, let's say, you could decide, I just want to, even though it's kind of wasting this dice here, I just want to deal the extra 1, because maybe that'll be enough to take out the enemy.
Okay.
Does that track?
Oh yeah.
You said
In
it's co-op,
between,
right?
say that again?
It's co-op, right?
Yes. Right now, the kind of game experience I'm playtesting is we're all on the same team, and we're simply just trying to earn mastery points that give us that we can use to upgrade our characters, and then we do that to an extent that we feel we are ready to face the boss. So if we are looking here at this kind of crude map, and this mini is representing the legate itself, and our mission is to just defeat the legate. We could take the straight path, or we could take every avenue to generate more mastery point, right? The idea also of this game would be, even in losing, you would want to gain something. So if you took a route, so think more like a roguelike game situation. If you were to take a path, least traveled, and you ended up losing in that game, but during that path, you discovered this school here, the School of Sacrifice, right? That school would later be made available for your further playthrough. So that's kind of the structure that we're working with right now. Is let's make every run give you something so that you're just kind of an inch ahead, and maybe better what kind of character you want to play in the future.
Okay, quick stupid question, but I'm not
Sure.
much of a PC gamer, but I've only slayed one Spire, and I
Right.
just beat the first part of Inscription. So
Right.
roguelites are defined as even when you die, you can pretty much still bring some loot with you, is what defines a roguelite.
Yeah, so a lot of the basic mechanics are it's largely random, and it's about just making you yourself as a player better at the game so you can win in the future. The elements I want to include is you get better at the game as you play, and you unlock secret things that are made available in future runs as well. So maybe if you got to a certain tile in this mission, maybe you get a version of the legate that you can use as your character map, right? These are all things we're kind of going through and discussing, as well as including or increasing the the pool of available cards and items for future playthroughs. I don't have in this version of the mod. I don't have any equipment or items, but I might be able to spawn something here. I don't think I have it. Okay. But for the sake of the balance,
Do you mind if we do a 2-player game? I'll play a round or two, and then it's getting late here. I should probably turn in, and then you can take over for me.
Sure. Do you want to play around with me
Whatever's
or?
easiest for you. Well, I was
Gotcha.
thinking I could play with.
Marcus, for you. Marcus?
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. Marcus on the net. Marcus.
Exactly right. That would be great. Yeah. So let's do that because I have a general idea of what the balance would be like.
Okay, great.
So you two can play and roll, and then I can either roll for the monster or I can just.
So which dice do I draft? Any or a particular starting set? White, blue, purple?
Yeah. So you would just draft 2 white, 1 blue, 1 purple for now. But let me see if I can find it. For example, that's a confusing. Getting a card, like the first time you get a level 1 card for this class, right? Mm-hmm. So this would be like a barbarian, let's say. You would get a red dice and increase your health by 1.
Okay.
Do y'all have experience playing D&D?
Not really.
Nah.
So in D&D, when you multi-class, you could be a level 10 character, but maybe that just means you're a level 3 barbarian, a level 4 wizard, and a level 3 thief.
Yeah,
right?
I play Final Fantasy, so it sounds similar.
Right,
do I chuck
exactly.
these dice in the dice roller?
Yeah, that's gonna, that might, but yeah, you would just drop it straight in. As long as the dice roller is highlighted, it will spit out your dice in a line. You don't have to, but I don't like how not rolled the regular roll function is. And I don't have the acumen to program it myself. me see if I can do a little bit of live building here.
Okay, I rolled.
Somewhere.
Now do I choose which thing to put it on?
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and spawn a
Monster?
combat. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm just using this map here. I think it was randomized at some point. This would be an example of now you have like this merchant or this, building in your city in between rounds. But for the sake of balancing, doesn't really make sense in this version of the game. So I'll go ahead and re-roll that for this is just saying spawn 1 green minion. So I'll spawn that for you guys. And I'll grab his dice pool. And at the start of each encounter, you do need a d20. So let me grab those. So boom, boom, boom. And then one just in case. And I'll have that for later. So let me get a dice roller for him. So go ahead and roll your d20 first. You might want to turn off the snap.
Didn't do so good. I rolled a 3.
Okay, you rolled a 3. I'll roll for the monster here. But this would just be done by somebody who's playing. So you can do that if you want.
You just rolled an 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's an 8.
And Marcus, did you roll your d20?
Oh, no, I didn't know. I was rolling right now.
Here, this is a... if you drop it in, it'll roll.
Nope.
It's because it's snapping. Here, use that dice instead. Here, that might.
Mine worked fine. I just tucked it on the table.
Oh, okay.
Old-fashioned way.
Right.
Old-fashioned. Just hit the R.
You can, or you can literally throw it. As long as you don't throw it too hard, it'll roll on the table and stop on its own.
So you got a 5.
For me, that's the most satisfying.
I
let the physics engine decide the randomness and not the random generator.
I think I got a 7.
This definitely shouldn't be a 20. It definitely rolled something else, but so I'll just
You rolled an 8.
An 8, you're right. That sounds right. And then so that you remember the turn order, I am just placing the d20 kind of on your character mat or just somewhere right in front of you so you know in what order you're going.
Okay. So low number goes first or high number goes first?
Highest number goes first.
Oh, so the monster goes first. What's he doing to us?
So it's the sludge. Do you guys want me to play for the monster, or would one of you like?
You don't mind. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So this sludge has a passive, something to look out for. If this sludge takes damage, the dealer of the damage is going to take a venom token. These are all the tokens on the right, as well as some definitions. But venom basically will just reduce your damage dealt by 1.
Okay.
I'll roll for the sludge. Okay, so this case it's dealing the 2, or deal 2 damage. The snapping point is not quite centered on this card, but it's dealing 2 damage, and then in multiplayer games, I have a method of determining who takes the damage. So if it's 1 or 2, it'll be Gwen. If it's 3 or 4, it'll be Marcus. 5 is just whoever rolled the lowest number. 6 is whoever rolled the highest number. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That is very subject to change. It's just a way to make sure that the monsters aren't piling on just one person. So
If
I'll
you
roll
go
this.
up to the top in TTS under options, there's the permissions. One of the buttons at the top.
Mhm.
Is the digital counter checked? The checkbox digital?
Yeah.
It is checked. Okay.
Oh, was it not working for you?
I don't know why my TTS has this. I can't interact with counters unless you maybe if you copy and paste it, I can interact with it. Strangely enough, that sometimes kicks it out. But if not, then promoting me would definitely allow me to do it. Otherwise, you can just do it for me. Let me see.
Mine is unlocked. So here. Oh,
Yeah, it says you do not have permission to interact with the counter digital. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Is it letting you know?
No. You can
Okay,
just
well,
keep track of it.
I think
for me.
I've been promoted.
Oh, you're right.
No, I can.
Okay. Okay, I'll just take these off since they might be, say different things. So yeah, mastery points start at 0, and your health is whatever your character mat says.
But don't I get hit by one now?
Right, exactly. Well, let's see. So he rolled a 3 on his targeting roll, so that would be Marcus.
All right, so I'll take going to 7.
He's dealing 2 damage.
Oh, 2. Going to 6. Right.
Okay, now what?
Now it's the next highest initiative, so Marcus.
All right. And I have not rolled yet, so.
Right, yeah. Go ahead and roll that. If you're using the dice roller, you're going to want to shake your mouse a little bit so the dice kind of groups up. Yeah.
They'll go in without shaking as long as the dice roller is highlighted when you drop it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, what are you going to spend? You got a wild and you got a no-go.
And wild is still just a generic white, right?
That would be the miss.
Yep, that's the miss. Right, so.
You can deal 2 damage.
Yeah, looks like a winner. And then I got to spend all these now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would just assign them.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll go for 4 damage.
Sweet.
Is it? Oh, each of these does 1 damage? Not having to have all 3 to do 1 damage?
Right. So if the slots are separated, so it's kind of hard to see, but
so it does 4.
yeah, those are individual. So that
then?
would be 4. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I got a 5 already rolled. Deal 1 damage, and I inflict a curse.
Sweet. Marcus, I gave you a venom because of the passive here.
Okay, gotcha.
And I got, I guess, 3 more damage. So 4 in total with a curse.
Okay, sweet. So that's all you needed to finish it. This passive doesn't apply to you since you dealt fatal damage on that attack.
Nice. Okay. Do I get a mastery point?
Right. So everybody would now get the value of the mastery point right there, which is 1. You might not be able to see it because of the dice.
If you hold Alt over it, it'll pop up on your screen. I got it. Okay, perfect.
And that's tracked by the green counter.
Say that again. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So you should all have 1 now, and
1
this
or
venom.
2?
1.
Okay.
For this encounter. So this venom token will stay until your next combat turn unless you get healed as a result of like an event or any other healing methods. The balance works out best because of the low health for you two to have the choice between two things. So basically, the party would split 10 gold to use at a shop in the beginning of the game. And the 2 cards that I have in the shop that aren't in this version of this mod, I have it like in the physical, paper and pencil version, is 5 gold for a cooking pot or 5 gold for a potion. A potion, I'm just using this little health chip. Potion is just, you spend it, gain 5 health immediately. You can't go over your max, but it'll take you out of, a scary situation. Cooking pot will give you 2 health between each combat, between each traveling, or as you move to a different dice, or a different tile, excuse me. So basically you can have your pick between the 2 to start with.
You just always get 10 gold after every fight?
No, gold would be a very specific currency that would happen as the result of a special event or perhaps killing like a very high end monster. Gold wouldn't be like an every combat thing. It's just a way for me to say like which equipment do you want to buy at the beginning.
Okay. And it would be listed on the monster, right?
Say that again?
And it would be listed on the monster how much gold you get, right?
Right. And in this demo, none of the monsters have gold, and that's probably how it would stay, unless I made one of these higher end monsters give you maybe a little bit of gold. But it'd be more, if anything, it would be you happen to flip a tile that had some gold on it, just as a benefit to exploring. But the main currency is going to be your health and your mastery point. Because really that's going to be the meat of the game, is your abilities. The gold would just be a means to helping you out in the beginning of the game. So, would you rather have a potion or the heal 2 every time you travel? And you could individually make this decision.
Okay. Potion heals how much health? All of it?
Potion heals 5.
Okay. Yeah, heal 2 every time you travel.
Okay. Matt?
My choices?
Just a potion?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll scale this up a little bit. It's an actual card. I just don't have it in this mod. Either potion, which will just heal 5 health just immediately, or cooking pot, which would allow you to heal 2 between every tile.
Cooking pot. I've already got max health.
Okay. So I would regularly hand you both a card that says cooking pot so that you could include that, but I'll just remind you guys to heal 2 every time you travel. But this sludge did get taken out. So up here on the right, we're moving orthogonally in this mod, so you have just this one tile to go on. So it's just another green minion.
Cool.
And Marcus, you can heal 2.
And all right, because we moved. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we re-roll again?
Yeah. So it's another sludge. I'll go ahead and, just for the sake of getting more helpful, I don't think so.
Not a lot of sludges.
For getting more helpful feedback, I'll kind of keep it unique. But yeah, so to start the combat, everyone rolls. Goblin rolled a 6. And I'll set their health.
Oh, dang, I got a good roll.
What'd you get?
Well, it says I could prepare and get 2 rerolls. Can I use them in the same turn I get them, or no?
No, but
Okay.
they would be like physical tokens, and then you could spend them to reroll. Marcus, did you reroll that initiative dice?
I rolled it too. Got a 12.
12, nice. Matt, did you roll your initiative?
Oh, I reroll initiative every time. Okay.
Yeah, just to keep the turn order a little bit, unique.
9.
I will introduce abilities and potentially equipment that will help you determine what turn order you go in, as well as when you're being targeted, like a taunt ability that would let you kind of manipulate that dice as well. So that's coming later. So you got a 9, 12. Goblin got a 6. Okay, perfect. So Marcus goes first.
When did we get more dice?
Anytime you get a new level card. So looking at this card right here, when you get a level 1 card, you get a red dice and a 1 more to your maximum HP. And that'll just be like a permanent increase.
And that card is determined by what? Like, what makes that card come out?
It'll be on the card. So this card is a level 1 card from this teacher.
Okay.
So if you get this card, you'll be thematically you'll be a level 1 barbarian, let's say, and you will get a red dice and a red or a extra HP.
Cool. All right. So yeah, looks like I'm swinging 5 at the goblin.
Nice. So you do have venom.
Okay, so 4 at the goblin.
I'll take the venom back, and you could just deal the 4.
4, yeah. So 6.
And then is that your full turn?
Yep. That's all I wrote.
Okay, so initiative, I think I'm next. So I could do a damage and a curse. Or I could get a reroll. Or I could dump all 3 of these dice and hit them for another damage. So 4 damage and a curse?
You do have this miss.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Right.
3 damage and a curse.
Okay. So I'll take the curse out here. Curse, it forces the enemy or whoever has the curse token to re-roll their highest value dice. And if it's a tie, you can just decide yourself. And if it's a tie on the monster, the party decides. Though I found the balance works best if it's an optional reroll. For example, if the monster has curse, you can choose to reroll the highest if you want or not. For example, if they rolled all misses, you don't want them to reroll one of those dice. But for the sake of this, they got the curse, and you dealt 3 damage. So down to 3. All right, I'll go ahead and grab their dice. And you'll notice the goblin here has priority listings on their abilities. That's just going to let you know, hey, because it's a AI system, try to use this ability first, and then if you can't, use this. This is also a conjoined 2 dice slot, which means you have to have both of these dice in order to use this ability. But he actually did roll for this ability, so that would be enough to use Roar, but he's cursed, so we'll go ahead and re-roll his highest value. So now he no longer has Roar, so he's going to do Slice instead. Did y'all see how that determining the monster move worked? Okay, great. Marcus, did you get that?
Oh yeah, because it was cursed. It had to re-roll its stun dice.
Exactly. Stun. I don't think I have a token for it, but stun would basically, the player would choose which dice, but they wouldn't be able to roll or use that dice for the next combat. Just for their next turn.
Cool.
So rolling the target, and that's going to choose Gwyn. And it's going to deal 2 damage to you.
Okay, so I'm down to 6.
Right. And then we're back to the top of the turn order. So, Marcus?
Right. Reroll.
I think we are, right?
Yep. Keep your initiative dice because the turn order will be just the same. But yeah, you get a fresh, combat turn.
Okay. Because it's not dead yet, or?
Exactly.
Okay. I got a wild. The 2. Did you have anything to cover up a person's move?
No, but that's a mechanic I want to include in the future.
Yeah, sounds like a good one.
Yeah, the only difficulty is a lot of these minions, monsters have only, 2 moves. But yes, that is something I've been thinking about.
Cool. All right, yeah, swinging the 5.
Okay.
I'm knocking them out.
Okay, so that's the full 5. And you both gain 1.
1 mastery, right?
Exactly. And I don't have the token. I don't know what happened to it, but this 2 tile here, it should have like a visual. I'm using this mini just kind of as an example, an indicator that this teacher, what's his name, Aaron the Bold, he's on this tile. So if you flip this tile and you defeat the minion encounter, this teacher will make himself available to teach you. But now you have, looks like 3 options in terms of which way to go.
And the goal is to get to this monster at the end, or?
Yes. This would be the final encounter.
Yeah, I think we got it on lock, so we'll just go straight for him. The teacher would do what for us?
The teacher would unlock these class cards for you to spend your mastery points on.
No, we're going to go ahead first, though.
Matt, do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and flip this. This is another work in progress. This would basically bring a merchant to your home base. which would just let you buy things in the future. So, but I don't have any equipment nor the gold implemented in the game right now. So, another green minion. Okay, cool. Legionnaire this time. So, don't forget you can both heal 2 between combats up to your max health.
Maxed out.
And this Legionnaire is going to have 2 white dice. And I'll roll the initiative for him.
You get 2 health, Flash.
Mm-hmm. Matt, you there?
Yeah, sorry, it's getting late for me.
Oh, gotcha.
I got up early this morning. This looks fun. I'd like to try it again some other time. If you don't mind, can you just jump in for me?
Sure.
Did you want to add any tips, anything before you go?
Seems I like a couple games I've seen before where you roll dice and it's either value and or color to slot them in, and I like that the game ramps up as you get mastery, new things unlock, and the boss, the enemies seem well thought out. They're not too tough yet, but they've got some interesting things that keeps the game fresh. So, I can't think of too much else to mention right now. Haven't seen too much of it, but I'm liking what I see so far.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, you basically were getting the experience that I wanted to portray. The only things you would be missing is kind of the experience of choosing what cards to like get and add to your total pool. But I'm aiming to have about 10 separate decks of different, each one focusing on a different mechanic in the future. So just to start with, and just to kind of elaborate, the current deck on there, the mechanic is just health as a consumable. Right. So a lot of the abilities will do different things depending on how much health you have, or some of the abilities will deal damage or do whatever and require you to lose the health. So that'd be an example of just like the mechanic of the class. But yeah, I'm still definitely working on balancing a lot of these values, especially.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'll jump in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. Nice to meet you, Pete / Eric.
Yeah.
And right. I'll see both of you later. Thanks, guys.
All right. Smell you later, Matt.
All right.
Night.
I went ahead and rolled for Gwen.
Okay.
And also healed the 2.
Okay, I see it costs a mastery points to learn. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. So this is just saying that you need to spend 3 mastery points to learn the level 1 card. And then the level 2, at least the way this is right now, it also costs 3, but you have to have at least 1 level 1 card.
Okay.
And then just so on.
Cool. All right. And you doing Gwen now? Gwen's turn now?
I rolled the initiative for Gwen. Did you roll for yourself?
Got an 11. I think I got an 11. Yeah, I got an 11.
Okay, and Legionnaire got a 7, so you go first.
Okay. And I have not rolled for turn, so... Alright. Alright. Got the wild, which is pointless. Alright, roll pretty hot this turn. Okay, can't use that. And avoiding attack. Now, when do these, the dice, they're active until it comes back to me? Or how does that work?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So if you, at least the way it's played out right now, if you use dodge and Legionnaire attacked you, once one of his attacks go off, you would take the dice off.
Okay. Man, I think the slices are too generous. I mean, the slices ought to be like at least a 3 or something, maybe I'm thinking, but...
Yeah, it's pretty hard to whiff in the way that this game is set up at the moment. Because I wanted most of the experience, rather than to be play the risk to roll these higher risk combinations. At the moment, I wanted the risk or the fun to be from choosing how to build your character. But it's definitely something I'm still going through. And like Slice could definitely just be something for the common, monster minion.
Man, I mean, because it seems like, I mean, I know this is just the intro part of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but...
yeah, I was just putting some values down to basically just be able to roll, right?
Yeah, okay, I hear you. Alright, but yeah, still mapping it all out. But yeah, I'll do 6. No, 4 tripping. 4 damage. Takes them down to 4.
So 4. And then he has a 7 and I have a 3, so he'll go next. He's just rolling these 2. Both are misses, so he's whiffing. I don't know why that assigned. He's whiffing. And I'll go next. And I rolled 2 misses. I can only really deal 2. Yeah, that's just what's going to have to be. So back to you.
All right. Whoa. Keeps not. Alright, got nothing. Oh yeah, also you gotta make a dice roll that lets you re-roll naturally.
Say that again.
You gotta make a dice roll that lets you re-roll.
Sorry, it keeps cutting out.
Oh, I'm saying you gotta have a power that lets you re-roll.
Lets you re-roll the dice you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Gwen has here for prepare.
Oh, look at this for Gwen. Yep, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, so basically that ability is saying you need a little bit of wisdom and a little bit of this like psychic ability to be able to roll your own dice again.
Oh yeah, good stuff. All right, man. Let me swing 5 on them. Take them out.
Yeah, you've been dealing a lot of damage this entire game.
Marcus is not to be trifled with. Yeah.
Right. We could go straight for the boss, or you could go out of all the options. I would either choose the boss or this just to get the cards unlocked. But you can go ahead and add another mastery point to your character, yeah.
Let's go straight for the boss. Knock him out.
Okay. So the boss is on a blue minion encounter.
Okay.
So it's going to be a blue minion as well as the legate boss. This really isn't like a super high level. So, that was like 3 combat encounters just rolling on the physical table. They're each around like 3 to 4 minutes. An hour 30-minute game would be more like 15 or 20 encounters total. And so this would be more of like a mid-level enemy.
Okay.
In terms of how high that could be. But for the purposes of this mod, this is like the goal of the mission. So I'll set him up, and then I'll roll the initiative for these guys. So just roll it manually because of the snapping points. So Legate got a 13. And Sludge is going 20. Okay.
I got a 3.
And I got a 3 as well. That's funny. Okay. Not looking great for us, gotta say. But, who knows?
Who knows?
So the Legate is going to have 3 dice, and Giant Sludge is going to have
3 red.
3 red, exactly. And he rolled the highest, so he'll go. He has Venom Counter 2, which is an upgraded version of what the Sludge has. And he made Slam, yeah. So you'll go to Slam, which is deal 3 damage, inflict 1 stun, and that will be to the lowest initiative. We are tied. We both have the ability to recover health, so it's really just up to us. You're dealing a lot of damage, so I'll just take it because I think it's pretty important that we just get rid of these guys. So I'll take the attack here, which will be 3 damage and the 1 stun. So I think I will stun my blue die for this turn. Okay. Now it's Legate. And Legate hasn't been updated with, 1, proper card images that don't get cut off, and then 2, priority. But priority would be 1, 2, 3. So he's going to try to summon Legionnaire first. It's asking for 3, 5, or 6s. He doesn't have that, so I'll go back. I'll go just Sting and Slice.
Okay.
This ability would summon the green minion Legionnaire.
Okay.
So he's dealing just 3, and that will be to.
I guess I'll take it this time.
Yeah. So it's the highest initiative, which we're both tied. So you can if you want.
Yeah, I'll take it this time. All right, so we're tied, so I guess I'll just roll first.
Yeah, you can go.
Dang it.
Yeah, whoops.
Alright, and of course, 2 misses, avoiding attack, and swing 1 on. Yeah, this will knock out the slime first. So deal 1 to the
Okay.
sludge. Dang. These things, they don't tick down, they just go to 0.
Yeah, you're hitting
Oh, okay, you
the
go to the far left, okay.
yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
exactly. So it has the slime counter or the venom counter too. This is a pretty well, even without like this sludge is more of like a level 3 enemy. Um,
Oh, well, screw that, yeah, we'll just hit the other guy then.
yeah.
Alright. Yeah, so
Okay.
now I see we're gonna need the weapons and stuff, so. You know.
I mean, even just having the extra dice and the extra health, really do help you roll what you need to roll. You know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go ahead and roll. Let me get this out of the way. This was a 3. And my blue dice is stunned. So I'm not rolling that one. Okay. Let's see. Well, I can't get cursed, so I'm just going to go straight to slice. Deal 3 damage. And I'll do it to the legate as well. Because I really don't want to get 3 attacks going at once, you know? Alright, that's my turn. So back to sludge. Roll it. Okay, so it got it slam again. And that's going to go to you this time.
Alright, I'll avoid it.
Nice. So this card itself is an attack. Still deciding if that's the balance that makes the most sense. Like for slice example, if all 3 damage would be 1 attack, or if it would be, 3 instances of 1. But for the purposes of this mod, slam itself is 1 attack, and slice itself is 1 attack as well. So, yeah, go ahead and ignore the attack.
Okay.
And now it is Legate's turn. So, rolling 3. It's not doing Legionnaire. It does have a 4, so it's going to do Sting. And it's going to go ahead and hit for Slice for 2. So it's going to deal 4 damage to you as well.
Say 4?
Yeah, this is your health right here.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. Alright.
So now it's you again.
Right. Triple 3. I mean, quad 3s. Not much I can do with quad 3s.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, 3 damage on the legate. Legate.
Okay, this time my blue dice is not stunned. So I'll go ahead and. Wow, I rolled 2 misses. That sucks. All I can really do here is the deal 2 damage.
Yeah. And then we're minced meat.
What was that?
Yeah, but then we're soon to be minced meat.
Exactly, yeah. this is where kind of the idea that like you lose, but you should ideally be adding things to your next playthrough. But I'll go into it if we do lose. But
Gotcha.
so Sludge goes next.
You already took him. You already took him.
Sludge misses the slam, so now it's Legate. Which is good. We needed that. We needed the whiff. Legate is gonna do a 4 damage turn.
Okay.
And he's going to hit me. Okay.
All right.
Now it's you.
10, 10, 10. All right. We'll cover
Nice.
one. Now, it's 5 and up for this dodge, or just strictly 5?
Exactly.
5 and up? Okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
6 is wild. 6 is wild.
Right. Effectively, it does mean 5 or 6, because 6 is anything.
Okay.
This is actually a really good turn for your, what the abilities you have.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so yeah, got the dodge, got the recover 1, and swinging 3 on Legate. Alright.
Let's see if I can finish out the Legate so we can stop worrying about 4 damage every turn.
Oh, yeah.
I'll roll. Okay. Okay. I could finish him, or I could roll for the reroll. I think I'm just gonna have to finish him, just to have a chance at winning here. So I'll swing for 3 to just go ahead and take him out.
Nice. And you got how much mastery there? No mastery there? Oh,
he doesn't have a mastery value right now because he would kind of be the boss,
okay.
Which would be like the end of the mission, and the mission would be like your play session.
Okay.
And then that's me. So now it's Giant Sludge.
Come on, come at me, bro.
Okay, so it did make slam. So, I mean, let's hope it gets you because you have that avoid.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sweet.
And then of course got to make a power to be like a block.
It cut you off. Say that again.
Then of course you got to make a dice power block for like another character.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I'm sure you already have that, but yeah.
Right. And I want as well, like, this deck of cards is about dealing high damage for taking a little bit of damage in return. I do want to make a class of cards that is just, skills that help you on the journey, right? So like healing skills, blocking skills, cards that let you roll more, passives, right? So something like if you are dealing damage this turn, recover 1 health kind of passive. And it would be like this Venom counter 2, right? So it's a card that gets added to your side, and it's just something that happens every turn as it goes.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
So you went ahead and avoided attack.
Yep.
Sweet.
Back on me. Alright, dealing 4 to him.
Okay. So he'll take the 4, and then This venom counter is when he takes damage, he inflicts the venom and spawns a sludge. Let me look for sludge here. Yeah, I've never had this combination of the legate and the sludge in playtesting, but every time I've faced this boss, I had 12 max health, 2 extra dice. So this is interesting that we've made it this far, honestly.
Okay.
I'll roll this for the sludge. 16. And we'll include it in the next roll because we're already at 3. Does that make sense?
Because we're already at 3.
Yeah, so doing the turns from 20 down to 1, sludge went, giant sludge went, then it was you, and you're at initiative 3. So now it's me, but then the next cycle, it'll be giant sludge, regular sludge, then you, then me.
Okay.
So venom again, just next time you deal damage, it's -1.
Okay.
I will roll for Gwen. Okay, this is nice. This is a good turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to... Honestly, we just really need to take out the giant sludge.
Yeah.
Since I haven't had to implement these sort of rules, but I'll go ahead and say that this encounter, as a 2 monster encounter, won't spawn any extra sludge for now. Like, it'll just be the 2, or the 1 extra. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it
spawn
would
1 max sludge. Yeah.
help us get to the point a little bit easier. I
Well,
don't
I mean,
even
if
know
it's a roguelike, though, I mean, it's supposed to be difficult, but...
Right. But then again, all these numbers are just stuff, imaginary. Yeah. Like, it just made them up, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know if it's worth recovering the 1 health if both these attacks deal at least 2. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to do the high damage.
Yeah.
I'll go for Slice for 3 damage and then Curse for 1. You can, if you'd like, do each attack to a different target.
Okay.
So, like, I can do Slice for 3 on one person and then a Curse on another. I think... So, Sludge has 2 dice, but Sting is actually easier to get than Slam. I don't know, which of these 2 monsters do you think would be better to have to re-roll their dice?
Probably the giant sludge.
Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll just deal all my damage to the giant sludge.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well.
Be right back.
So, do 4.
Be right back.
Sure.
Alrighty. Alright, so it's down to 5 and 8. On me now? Yeah, on me. Whoa.
No, I haven't rolled for Sludge yet. I just did the curse, did the damage. So now it'll be his turn.
Okay. What's their turn?
Their turn, and they'll have to re-roll their highest. Oh, perfect. Good call, because they're going to have to re-roll the 6. So hopefully they miss. Nice. Okay.
3. Nice.
Good call. So that's a whiff. I'm sorry. And I forgot they did give me Venom from being attacked last turn. So next turn I'll deal 1 less.
1 less.
So now it'll be Sludge. Sludge's first turn. And
Whiffed.
Sludge also whiffed.
All
Nice. I'm liking this trend.
Good deal.
We have a shot here, you know. I think it's possible.
Gotta say. All right. Yeah,
Nice.
rolling high. And with the avoid.
I
Yeah.
damaged. Yeah, there's no way that we can take them both out on this cycle. So the avoid attack, just so that at least you stay alive. That's definitely the move.
All right, swinging 3 on Giant Sludge and getting rid of the Venom.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Attacking the sludge gives you another Venom, so I'll just put it back.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll get my roll going. Okay. Okay. Nice. This is a high damage turn for me too. Which is important because, let's see, 2. Yeah, it's probably best just to go ahead and take it out. So I'll do Slice on Giant Sludge. So instead of 3 damage, I'll deal 2. Then I'll get rid of that. And then I'll deal Curse on Sludge.
Nice.
So that's just for 1 and inflict 1 curse.
Giant Sludge is out of there.
That's right. Nice. Okay, that's my turn. All right, well, let's see if he whiffs.
Oh,
He whiffed.
All right. Now it's
Did get the Venom from attacking Sludge. I forget that they both have that passive. Yeah. It's you next.
Right. Is it possible for me to keep that avoid on deck, or?
You would have to reroll. Yeah. Unless in the future I make some kind of like equipment that just says, you know, keep a dice from last turn or something like that.
Okay.
But that's good food for thought for sure.
Good thing.
I guess you didn't need to keep it because
you got it right back.
Exactly. Okay, nice.
Yep, and that's another 4 and a dodge, so can't lose.
You got 4, but you also got Venom.
Oh yeah, so 3. So 7 to 4. Yeah, 7 to 4.
You can just keep the Venom because of
giving it back.
And I'll go ahead and roll these. And let's see.
Recover health.
You know, he's at 4.
Oh yeah, that's enough to take him out. Just put off.
Yeah, I think even if I just go out in a glory or whatever, I'll just do the 2 because I have Venom. And I think at least one of us will be able to take him out.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Sludge again. This time it did get Sting.
But I'll just avoid it.
Let's see who it'll attack.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
You.
R.I.P.
You'll respawn
If
in
we
a second.
Say that again?
You'll respawn in a second anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, if we survive this encounter, if one of us wins, I'll be brought back with the 1 health or whatever. I haven't had that situation happen, but that's kind of the idea.
I mean, it's impossible for me to roll like 4 misses. So, well, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if I roll 1 miss, that's enough. But all right, but yeah, I got no misses, so I'll deal 3 damage, knocking it fool out. Well, no. 2 damage. No. 4 damage. 3 damage, knocking it fool out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you needed.
4 damage. Right.
Yeah, I've definitely not had that combination of monsters at the last little combat. I've definitely had it with. Let's mix up. Let's see. I had it with Wraith, which is definitely an easier combat than Giant Sludge, just because it doesn't actually bring in another, monster.
Oh yeah. Be right back again for final thoughts. Hold up.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, be right back again in about 45 seconds.
Sweet.
All right. Yeah, what I like the most is that path. I really like that path. I like the visualness of that path and that revealing and stuff. Yeah, and then of course it would get cooler if you were adding more dice. Do you keep your dice from run to run, or?
Yeah, so, let's say we had done this encounter and we fought that giant sludge just by itself, right? And once we won, we would get so giant sludge has a 3 mastery point count, so we would get the 3, and we would basically save this teacher from an attack, right? And this teacher, once we beat that monster, would come back to our city or a town, which would mean in between turns, we can learn from that teacher. So I'll bring all the cards relevant down here to the class card. We would have a shot at buying these cards. So got some level 1s, some level 2s, and a level 3. I would prefer to have more than just 5 cards in a class, but I just spit this out to have something. So, you would have 6 from that encounter, and we would just start picking. So I would say, I don't have a ton of damage, so I might just take Bloody Slash to add some damage to my kit. Right. But maybe if you're playing Brutus, this character over here, you would say, well, I already have one red dice in my regular dice pool. So it makes more sense for me to have Bloody Slash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where, like in D&D, maybe your character is more suited to being a barbarian rather than a wizard, because the stat spread is like you would have an advantage just going straight strength, right? But I wouldn't want that to limit Brutus to only being a barbarian type character. And so while Brutus has this extra red dice, meaning 2 of his dice would be good for Bloody Slash. Some of these abilities, for example, an ally recovers 3 health, lose 3 health, that would be more useful on a Marcus or a Gwen who can heal themselves, right?
Yeah. Do you have anything to make a dice a wild color?
That's another thing I've been thinking about. Either as a card in your hand to like play, so an item, to just be like, you know, for this turn, roll this dice to be any color. Or I would have like let's say it's an equipment that would be like a card, but instead of having this like ability and everything, it would just be like +1 dice, and you would keep it just to know that you added the dice to your pool, and you would just make the choice of the color based off whatever you want to do. That wouldn't exactly be colorless, but it would just let you add a dice of whatever color you want to your total pool. I have thought of doing a class that uses like a gold die, for example, that can just be any color, any number. But everything in that class is like very hard to roll, for example.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you got it nice and paced out. Like at first it seemed too easy, but then we just barely made it out alive, so that was perfect. But
Yeah, that was pretty surprising for me, even because I've play tested through the boss fight 3 times. Once or twice with 2 people, once with just Gwen. And I think 2 of those 3 experiences I lost at the boss fight.
Yeah, but
which
it takes
I
Marcus
think
to win,
I
so
liked.
I mean, just know that, yeah.
Say that again?
Oh, I say it takes Marcus to win, so just know that. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Brutus has a lot of these high damage turns, where, he could, but if this is his dice pool, he could deal, 3 here, 2 here.
Oh yeah, Brutus
and
is
then
crazy, yeah. Brutus is
so
OP, yeah.
yeah, that's a 7 damage turn, which every time I fought Giant Sludge before, I use Brutus because Brutus can deal these like high damage turns. So like if the giant sludge spawned a sludge every time it got hit, you would need that hit to count, right? It would have to be high damage.
Yeah, I mean, Brutus comes from defeating Brutus at first, or what is it?
It was just an extra or another available class. Just I was just kind of trying to come up with 3 sort of archetypes.
Yeah, I mean, his health should only be like a 5 though when his stats are so crazy.
True. Yeah, Gwen is definitely the weakest at the moment, and I don't know if Smash should really be deal 3 damage. I think maybe it even makes sense to be a deal 2.
Well, 2 and then something else like small.
Yeah, maybe like a 2 and I don't know, a status effect of some kind. I think when the attacks, like in a board game, like maybe in Final Fantasy, you could have 5 attacks that all deal 5 damage. But this is like a fireball, so it looks like fire. This one is, you know, a sword slash, so that's the animation. In a board game, you're really just looking at the numbers, right? Like there's no way to make 5 different versions of deal 5 damage feel unique other than their names,
I mean, you can
right?
just counters and everything, stacks of counters, removing counters.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the kind of the direction I feel like I need to go, is to make the moves themselves, to not just have a bunch of moves that are technically different, but they all basically just say deal, 2 damage.
You could add more
Um,
gauges to make things proc and go crazy.
Say that again. It broke
You
up.
could add gauges to make things proc and go crazy.
Could
Just
you
and then,
explain that? I'm interested.
so like you say, deal the 5 damage, but then you go 1 on this gauge, and then when the gauge hits 10, then you get an ultimate
Mm,
from the gauge or something.
that's a good point, because the strength kind of stereotype in like your D&D or your fantasy is more about that rage, right? So a counter or a gauge that fills up, that deals this big attack at the end, that would be nice. So maybe smashes a deal 2 damage, add 1 rage token,
Yeah.
and then at 3 rage you get to like do an extra attack or something. That would be nice.
Oh yeah. Or just re-roll 1 dice, or yeah.
Reroll a dice, uh, maybe like ignore damage.
Or re-roll
Uh,
one of your dice that happened to miss, or
mhm. Yeah. I've also been thinking about, so if you're looking at these classes that I just the cards that I made, they all basically like, there's deal 5 damage, lose 1 health, deal 2 damage per die, lose 1 health. Then an ally recovers 3, you lose 3, deal 1 damage, but if you have less than 3 health, deal 7.
yeah.
So I haven't really gotten to playtest many of these because they require a lot of mastery points to get to, right? It's like a
Mm-hmm.
higher level of gameplay.
Yeah.
Um, but the general gist is like, I want the level 1 cards to be a very simple introduction to that class's main mechanic. So very simple, just deal damage, lose 1. But later on, it's more like dance with how much health you want to have, right?
Oh yeah.
Because obliterate, this is another thing where it's like you would think obliterate would be good for Brutus, but Marcus and Gwen, they technically will get to 3 health. Well, it's less than 3 health, so they'll get to 1 or 2 health faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And technically, they have an easier method of staying there
Yeah.
with this meditate. Um, so this might actually be one of those things that's like, you would think it would go to this strength guy, but this actually might hit harder on a Marcus or on a Gwen. Um, and then this Fury, basically Fury, this level 3 card, it would mean you had to have a level 1, a level 2, and then you can get Fury, right?
Yep.
Fury is just, if you die, go back to 1 health, and then you flip the card, and you can't use it for that combat. So until you beat that combat. Then when you move and travel, you can flip it back over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm still just playing around with ideas for sure. I do want one where it's like um, the class is all just about gaining tokens and then dealing damage according to how many tokens you have.
Oh yeah.
Um, which would be fun. I also want maybe this class gives you an ability you don't really need, but it gives you a dice that you actually do really need. Right. So for like Brutus, maybe he doesn't want to keep losing health, but he does want that extra dice to hit smash. Um, I've got um, I've got a class that I'm working on that deals with giving you dice that you have to spend. So it would be like you get to add dice to your roll, but and then those dice go away as soon as you use them. You
Yeah,
know?
that's a good one.
Um, I try to just come up with like 10 basic mechanics ideas to play around with.
Then a class with exploding dice.
Say that again.
Then a class with exploding dice.
Yeah, like as soon as you use it, it explodes, kind of thing.
There's a thing in some games called exploding dice. I think war games use it a lot. It's just like if you roll a 6, you can re-roll it and keep on rolling it forever. Like as long as you keep on rolling hot 6s, you can keep on, and then that just adds to the number or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, look up exploding dice.
Where's that's I don't currently have attacks that will be like have to do with the value you roll. That is, I've never even heard of that exploding dice.
Yeah, it's not very common, but I mean it's common, but not very very common. The game
Next,
that Cthulhu Must Die is a good example of a game that uses
I think,
exploding dice.
yeah, I've heard good things. I just haven't played it.
Me neither. I just hear him talking about it, but yeah.
Um, so sorry, I'm just trying to write down the things that you were saying, just to kind of so I can make sure I remember. You said you liked the idea of the map and the paths that you can take.
Yeah.
You mentioned something else too about like, oh, the smash, the rage, like the stacks.
Oh yeah, with like a gauge that fills up, and then you can get the ultimate off of it, and then start back at 0 on the gauge, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe some gauges are just once per game, or I mean once per run, or
Mm. Yeah. So a lot of the things that I would include as like this is limited, like you only get this once. I would basically have that be like an equipment or an item.
yeah,
And so part of my thoughts is like, let's say you do defeat this lich in the corner over here, this like purple guy. Maybe defeating the lich gives you an ability for the run, and that's like the only way you can get a lich ability, right?
yeah. So
Or the lich gives you like a certain piece of equipment, like the the robe of the lich, and it makes you immune to curse or something along those lines, right?
yeah,
And then as soon as you unlock it in future runs, it's part of the pool of equipment you could buy.
yeah,
So that's what I mean by like, I want you to feel a sense of accomplishment even if you lose. And the way I envision doing that is basically just having like tiny deck boxes of things that are still locked and deck boxes of things you've unlocked.
Yeah. They get a
Uh,
character to be like manipulate their power, like -1 the move can still go off. Tokens.
Say that again.
Um like a guy that could make Sting go off at a 3.
Oh, like changing the
Dice
what
values,
the
yeah.
move is asking.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Mm.
I think you could also basically do the same thing by saying, well, yeah, I'm trying to think of how to do that on, like paper or like physical cards,
Yeah.
without just remembering that kind of thing. You could do like the ability to make your dice go up 1 or down 1.
Yeah. But like you want it to be tied to a particular move, but maybe not.
Mm. You could
But
also I could also do like, let's say I'm talking about curse. So curse is a kind of a hard ability to hit because it's a purple 5. I could do like a curse 2 that you could buy that is the same thing, but it's 4 and 5.
yep, and then just overlay them like dice throwing.
Hmm. The only thing is the starting 4 cards would be more of like basic abilities compared to a lot of the cards that are more specialized. Unless I just have like an upgrade for some of the cards you start with. I don't know. Still thinking about it.
Yeah, a lot of ideas. Yeah, but I mean it's solid though. So yeah, just keep on tweaking it and making sure the difficulty's there, and you're good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm still figuring out the numbers because like Venom or Viper's not that hard. Goblin not that hard. I think a lot of the difficulty just comes from doing multiple encounters without healing.
Oh yeah.
But Ant, for example, I need to change this because Ant's rolling 2 white dice, and that's a bad roll. But like even here, it's dealing 2 damage with a decently high potential to deal 4 damage. So this one was a pretty strong green minion. That, and I still don't know how I want to balance player counts. Like if you have 3 people playing at once, do you still just spawn the 1? Right?
And you could go like first encounter just 1, then second encounter go ahead and crank it up with 2. Then
Mm-hmm.
you could just track it with dice. Well, I mean, just track it on the path or something. Have a path deck and
Mm.
path deck for multiple players or whatever.
I know, like, what's the name? Tiny Epic Dungeons has sort of like it's like a turn counter, but it's like every turn you move the torch down the counter, and then the further down you go, the more bad things happen. And then when you add people to the game, you just start lower on the counter. Um,
Yeah.
but I've also thought about like, so I mean, the really thing is like, there's 3 ways you could do player count. You could either do the players start at different health based off of how many there are.
Yeah.
Which is like what a Dice Turn Adventures would do. You could do spawn enemies according to how many players there are, which is what like Gloomhaven would do, right? So if you're playing with 4 people, it would be at least 2 enemies every time.
Yeah.
Or you could do the enemy's strength depends on how many people you have. So like you would just have one card that on it just says for player, and it says like enemies health times 1.5 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That would just affect all the enemies, make them a little bit stronger. So I'm still playing with those ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whichever way feels the best out of the 3. So.
Yeah, true. Hopefully I'll have a version of this with more options in it, to actually kind of display some of that.
Oh yeah. So you went in your Austin group. How often do they meet up online?
Say that again.
Your Austin group. How often do they meet up online?
They don't do online meets. They do in person.
Okay.
Which is why somebody invited me into the Dallas.
Okay. What do y'all meet up at in Austin?
Emerald Tavern, I think, is one, and then a place down south that I haven't been to.
Is that on like 6th Street or where's that at?
Emerald Tavern is like central. I mean, according to downtown, it's actually more north of downtown. It's off of 183 and like Mopac, almost. Which I don't know if you've been in Austin, so it's kind of hard to describe, but yeah, it's just like board game tavern. You rent games there. There's tables. You can buy games.
Yeah, like
there's
been
food
to that
there.
one. I usually
What
go
was
to Dragon's Lair in Austin.
Yeah, I like Dragon's Lair. I know they split up a lot of what they have between comics and board games.
Yeah.
And I like Emerald Tavern. I frequent Emerald Tavern more because it's like basically just pure board games, and it has a restaurant inside of it. So
yeah, I hear you. Okay. Yeah, so you planning to make most of these Wednesdays though, right?
it broke up. Say that again.
Oh, I said you plan on making most of these Wednesdays, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, as long as I have the will to keep, creating for this game,
Oh yeah.
for sure. But I want to play other people's games too. I think that would be fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I just make it whenever I can, so hopefully I'll be back very soon. But there's Gen Con next week, so I'll probably miss.
You're going?
I'll definitely miss next week, but after that, I should be right back at it though.
You're going to Gen Con?
Yeah, me and Matt are going that we play with Flash. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to go, but I've never been to a convention like that, so I haven't really figured it out on the planning side and how early you kind of have to decide on those things.
Oh yeah, we got a BGG Con coming in November in Dallas, so that's nothing but
Yeah, no, that's the only one I've seen that's in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good one to hit. Pretty much around Thanksgiving, so make your plans now.
Yeah, me and my roommate were talking about maybe doing BGG Con because it's also like, I think it was like under 100 maybe.
Man, it might have been right at 100 or something, but maybe like 120. I think I want to say it's 120.
And I know that one is more like play a bunch of different games with people.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I mean,
No, but
if
and you have the unpub room too. I spent a lot of time at the unpub room. Um,
what
yep,
is
and made
that?
some good connections. Unpub is like unpublished games, and
Okay.
yep, and then you can have people play test your game, or you can play test other people's games, and then we'll have a game jam and all type of good stuff. So,
That's pretty cool.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to work on. I mean, thankfully, I have a lot of the templates of on like Nandeck to just be able to like spit these cards out.
oh
And I
yeah,
have like a template for the cards, the character mats, and the minions. So uh, those are pretty easy to create now after I basically did the work first, but
oh yeah,
now I should be able to spit those out.
nice. Just straight up through the spreadsheet, nice. And this is all through the spreadsheet,
Yeah.
right?
Say that again.
This is all through the spreadsheet, right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I just have a spreadsheet that's just like it'll be like ant. It'll be like name, ant, health 10, dice, white 2, mastery point 1, and then for the 2 abilities, I'll just put like nibble and bite, and then it knows to grab the picture, like because I have another sheet for all the cards. So like on ant, it just has 2 pictures, one here and one here. And then when I say nibble in the spreadsheet, it says, okay, put nibble.png from, card images in ability 1, and then put bite.png in ability 2.
Oh yeah.
So if I wanted to switch this, like let's say for some reason I wanted slam here, I would just, instead of bite, write slam, because I already have the image for this, and it would just put it there.
Nice.
Yeah, and especially what's really helpful on is bite. 3 damage is pretty strong. I might tune that down to 2. I just have to go into the spreadsheet for the cards, look for bite, and then deal 2 damage instead. And then run that, and then it'll spit out the image, and since it's titled the same thing, it'll just overwrite the last PNG.
Nice.
Yeah, and then it's just re-uploading in tabletop. That's the only hard thing, actually.
Yeah, I gotta get on your level. You're killing it. So yeah.
I mean, I would have to I'd have to look at your cards to see how difficult it would be. But I mean, unless your cards are like a lot more complex than some of this stuff, it would I would just have to design it once, and then you would have like a spreadsheet on Google, and like anytime you wanted to make a new card, you can just get on your phone and add a new row to your spread, or not even add, it would just be there. You just fill in a new row.
Ah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
If you want to load your mod, I can take a look at a card to see if how
Yeah.
hard it would be.
All right. Well, yeah. Was this in this video right here with GGs, and then pick up from there. All right. Let it
Yeah.
get us.